All right, we are live, and I am super, super excited to spend the next several minutes with you with an incredible guest of ours. And if you follow us, you know we like to put experts in front of you, people that help you create wealth while having a life. And this is a really, it's a really important thing that I think everyone needs to know in their journey of being a successful entrepreneur. And I'm going to tell you why. So the big question I have for you is, what is your time worth? What is your time worth? So there was a season where Tom and I, in our goal of having a successful business and raising our 4 daughters and, trying to buy a home and all the things that you want in life, right? There was a season where we had a business, but we had worked ourselves into being a slave to that business. We'd worked ourselves into a position where we were trying to be all things to all people and do everything. We were sleeping like 4 hours a night because we would stay up late, then manage the family. Like, we were actually miserable human beings. And the reason we started our business was for freedom. And what we found was we quickly had no freedom because we didn't know how to do what you're going to learn today from this incredible guest of mine. And so this is so important because I think there's too many entrepreneurs out there that are they're burned out. They're overwhelmed. And if you can relate to this, put in the chat. Put if you've ever experienced this, that feeling of like, I don't know what I'm doing. There's too many plates to spin. I'm overwhelmed. I don't know how to reach my next level. This could be a solid answer for you, like it was for Tom and I. And so the big reason why the wealthy become successful is because they learn how to focus on their strengths. They learn how in the time that they're working, they beeline to what they're great at, what their wheelhouse is and their strengths. And then they learn how to get all of the tedious things that take your time out of the way. And I want you to know that I'm learning through this process because my husband is a pro at this, but I struggle. I struggle with outsourcing. I struggle with not trying to be a perfectionist with all, trying to do everything myself. Do you want to say hi real quick? No. Do you see us live? You don't see us live? Okay, let me just go into our community and make sure I am live real quick. Give me 1 second. Are you checking, Tom? Oh, I see us. Okay. So anyhow, I want to get out of the way and bring up our incredible guest that you see here with us, Mike. And Mike, how do you pronounce your last name?
Abramowitz.
Thank you.
It's good enough.
So Mike is changing our life right now because transparently, recently, I've worked myself back into being a slave to my business. And so he's been that voice that has said, let us help you. Let's provide solutions for you. All those little things you're doing every day that are eating your time up, we can help you. So it has 20 years in direct sales, which is incredible. He's experienced training 5,000 plus reps with over $17 million sold in his company. He has 9 books, and he's the founder of PB&J for Tampa Bay. Is that right?
That's right. That is right. Yeah.
He has scaled several 6-figure businesses and nonprofits to be run without him so he can experience time freedom that he desires. Who doesn't want that? He's a busy father, husband who helps other busy entrepreneurs implement systems in their business by leveraging automation, delegation, and helping business operators become business owners and truly experience the financial and time freedom that drew them into entrepreneurship in the first place. He has a podcast called Better Than Rich Show and a community called Automate, Delegate, and Systemize. This is someone you want to listen to. Grab your paper, pen, and get ready. And if you have questions, I'm going to be checking our Facebook group and in the comments here. Put them in the comments as we go. This is an informal kind of conversation with how Mike and his company can help you win back some time and create the success of your dreams. So Mike, great to have you with us today.
Thanks so much, Kim and Tom and the community. And I'm really honored to be able to share a little bit of the things that have worked for me. I mean, and kind of like what you just mentioned, Kim, you said individuals need to know what their time is worth. And I think that's a great place to start because frankly, being in direct sales for 20 years, I'm 38. So I started when I was 20 years old, thinking back to 20-year-old Mike, what was my time worth when I was 20 years old? I was like, I could just work really hard and I could grind. And then like at 25 years old is like, I could work really hard and grind, but I really also want to start stacking away for my future. And then a 30-year-old Mike, it's like, I could work really hard if I wanted to, but I kind of want to have a little bit more freedom. And 35-year-old Mike, I'm like, I want to be a husband and a father and contribute to my community. And it's like, I don't really want to be in that grind. So it's like, it's important to know, like, whatever chapter of life you're in, having an idea of what is your time worth or what do you want your time to be worth. And then once you can audit that, for me at least, it gave me a lot of awareness. And with that awareness, we can make different decisions. So I hope that during our time today, specifically, I know maybe there'll be more opportunities for us to interact, but today specifically, if we could just unlock what that awareness is what is my time worth and what can I do with that knowledge of knowing this is what I want my time to be? And then what are all the activities and tasks that fall underneath that wage? And what are the activities and tasks that are above that wage? And that little bit of awareness alone, I think could be truly helpful for anybody that's listening to this, whether you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, you're in sales, if you like to consider yourself a grinder or a hustler, I think that's great. But that culture of like, grind, work, it can only go so far, like that hamster in a wheel type of thing. And it's not even your fault. It's like the environment that we were raised in, go to school to learn and get a good grade. And you just, once you get that good grade, then you're going to study again and get another good grade. And then you're going to study again and get another good grade. It's like that we were just raised in that environment. And so it's not even your fault. So I'm here to just like be the interruption of the pattern that was, and give you some tools to help you go from where you are. And just small context, Kim, just so everyone understands that the reason why this is something that's really personal and something I'm passionate about, because for those of you that might not know who I am or my story, I don't want to go into too much of the weeds of that, but I think it's important for context. So my dad works still to this day, he's 82 years old, and he works 6 days a week in his plumbing business. So I've witnessed my dad work inside of his business as an operator for my entire life. And that ambition and drive is inside of me. I love my dad for that. But there was also small pieces of me that as a kid, like I wish he would have been there for some of those basketball games. And I wish he would have been a little bit more present for some of the things in my life. But I love the ambition, but there was also a cost to that. So early in my mid 20s and throughout my 20s and early 30s, it was like that's what all I knew. Work 6 days a week, work 7 days a week, hustle, grind. But there were consequences to it. The consequences were I was in a 7-year relationship that ended. Consequences of when the business results weren't there, working really hard for low results. I was making like $50,000 to $70,000 a year, which is okay, but I was working 60, 70, 80 hours a week in exchange for that. And I didn't have the time freedom to like leave because then the business wouldn't work. And then I didn't have the money freedom to like go pay other people to do it. I didn't have the location freedom that I wanted. So there were some consequences to that. And once I was able to kind of crack the code, if you will, it was very expensive for me to crack the code. I hired a coach. His name was Andrew Biggs back in 2016. And he started helping me figure out like, how can I corporatize my entrepreneurial experience? He is an expert. He actually scaled a company in India from $6 million to $30 million. And he started taking those principles and bringing them to entrepreneurs that show them how to corporatize their like smaller businesses. I was his first client. So I started putting in departments into my business. And I hired an offshore virtual assistant team. I put in some like small little technologies, like for example, Calendly. Listen, if you're not using something as simple as Calendly, that is so many people are just going back and forth like, hey, what time works for you? Can that time work for you? How about that time? It's like, oh my goodness, so much back and forth that could be avoided just by putting all your availabilities in a link. Send the link, make sure it syncs with your calendar, and then somebody else can pick. And now there's an automatic reminder sequence and a follow-up sequence. And it takes away some of that headache But that's just like a small example of something that Andrew helped me put into my business, doing virtual meetings versus in person to win back some time, positioning me to be able to work from home before working from home was cool. And that was like 2016, 2017, 2018. By the time 2019, 2020 hit, it was like, all right, my business and direct sales was like a corporate operating machine. Then COVID hit 2020, and then all of those systems were go. And I was able to take my direct sales business and we did record breaking numbers in 2020 because we were ready for a virtual type of operation and being able to run without me. I had a staff, I had a team, I had systems, everything running without me. And my wife and I, we took an 18-day road trip while our sales weeks were over $100,000 sales weeks during our peak season. What's the so what of this? The so what of this for you listening is in 2020, December 31st, 2020, my son was born at 1 pound, 4 ounces. So we didn't know that we were going to be in the hospital with him for 8.5 months. So all of that work of putting in the business systems and the intentional operators and those people and putting the technology and tools in place during 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, when he was born, all of those systems were running while I was in the hospital with James and Lindsay. We were there for 8.5 months. So for 254 days, we were in the hospital and the NICU. I didn't know, but because I was planned and prepared, the business was able to run without me and still produce over $250,000 in revenue and over six figures in net profits without me there. So on September 10th, 2021, when we got out of the hospital, my coach, Andrew Biggs, I called him. I said, we need to partner up and teach busy entrepreneurs on how to do this. This could help so many people. And since then, we've helped hundreds and hundreds of entrepreneurs learn how to simplify and systemize their business using team and tech and AI. And it's really not that hard. And that's what I want to bring to you today. No, we're not going to be able to go to every single piece of the puzzle and details of everything. So if Kim and Tom are nice enough and you all like me, then maybe I'll come back and give you some more. But for today specifically, I think it is a great place to start with what you said, Kim, which is knowing what your time is worth. Do you know what your time is worth? And how can we be willing to use tech and team to get anything under your target hourly earnings off of your schedule and off of your plate? So if you're up for it, I'd like to just walk through an exercise that was really helpful for me that my coach did with me, with everyone today. Would that be okay?
Let's do it. I'm excited.
Okay. So the first one is figuring out what is your target hourly earnings. Like, so in order to figure out what your target hourly earnings is, we want to take what is your income goal for the year? How much money do you want to make for the year? So if you're playing full out and you're here live with us, feel free to, go with it, and you can type it into the comments with us. So if you think about how much do you want to make each year? 100 grand, 200 grand, 300 grand, $1 million. What is the amount you want to make each year? And then you think about how many hours per week are you willing to work in exchange for that amount of money? And then you think, how many weeks per year am I willing to work in exchange for that amount of money? So just using some easy math, let's say you want to make $300,000 for the year, arbitrary number, just picking it out, 300 grand for the year. And in exchange for that, I'm willing to work 30 hours a week. And I want to work 42 weeks a year. I want to take 10 weeks off where I'm not working at all. So I want to work 42 weeks, 30 hours a week, and I want to make $300,000. That means in this example, the target hourly earnings would be $238 per hour. Now, somebody might do this and their hourly rate might be $75 an hour, it might be $100 an hour, it might be $150 an hour, regardless of whatever that number is. You have that number. And if you're here with us live, go ahead, post your number. So it's your income, your total income divided by hours multiplied by weeks. So it'd be like 300,000. So 30 weeks times 42, or 30 hours a week times 42 weeks. And then 300,000 divided by that number gets 238. So if anyone's playing along full out, that number there will give you a number. I don't know if anyone's playing with us, playing on full out with us right now, Kim, but you could see the comments. I can't. So if anyone is there, awesome. And if they're not, no big deal. But that activity, starting place number one, now we have a number. Whatever that number is, now we want to think about two things. Number one, what are all the activities that you are currently doing that are underneath that amount of money? Question one. Question number two is, what are all the activities that need to be getting done that are not currently getting done because you're focused on doing all the activities that are underneath that dollar per hour wage? So this is essentially the next the next part of this this exercise, if you will. Making I have a list actually. If I'm able, I'll see if I could share my screen. I don't know if I'm able to or not, but if it works, great. If it doesn't, no big deal. So let's see if I could share my screen.
I'm going to add that to there. We did it. Teamwork.
All right, cool. So you can see all my other slides, but just so that way you could just kind of see this screenshot right here. So which of these tasks are you handling daily, and which tasks consume the most time and energy and bring the least value in terms of your desired hourly rate? So using the example that I gave, $300,000, 30 hours a week, 42 hours, that's $238 per hour. I would look at this list: social media posting, reminder messages, payroll, inbox management, customer service requests. Think about this way. How much time is spent by you sending emails or responding to inbox? So let's just say inbox management. So under inbox management, you have your for me personally, I have my Gmail inbox, I have my Outlook inbox, I have my Facebook inbox, my Instagram inbox, my LinkedIn inbox. Those are 5 inboxes. How much time did I used to spend on checking all of those inboxes? And then we also have a text line. So there's a text inbox, not my personal phone, but our business line. So there's a text inbox. So there's 6 inboxes. How much time is spent managing those inboxes, right? And not only how much time, but like how much energy is it? Like how energy draining is it for me to like say the same thing over and over again? Another one is putting up posts onto social media, not creating the content, but actually clicking the button to put the post up. So, and what you might say, well, Mike, what's what's an alternative? Imagine sitting down for an hour on a weekday, maybe 2, and just preparing all the content you want to do for the week, and creating a social media content calendar. Premeditate the content calendar, and then having a team or tech post that content on the days at the times that you want it done. So instead of you having to sit there, oh, let me think about when do I want to have this go out, or what is my inspiration for the day, having time and having boundaries for when that inspiration exists, and do it. So that's an idea. Managing appointments. My calendar fills up without me knowing. I already create the boundaries in my schedule. So it's like, how much time is spent sending text messages or reaching out to people saying, hey, does this time work for you? Why don't you hop on my calendar? I'd like to, why don't we grab coffee or something like that? Think about prospecting and lead gen. How much time is spent and energy is spent on finding new prospects, new leads, researching, all of that, all of these tasks. You could pay someone under $25 an hour to do all these tasks. Now here's a scarcity play that I want to, that peek behind the curtain that hurt me in those earlier stages as when I was in the business, is if I pay somebody else to do these things, but I'm not but I'm paying this money out to help me free up my time, but then I'm not making, what if I don't make more money over here? I see you nodding along, kid. That's a concern. That was a concern for me. So that concern for me was, if I'm willing to free up my time here, then what do I do with that time that is now freed up? That brings us up to the next point, which is, once those tasks are offloaded, once we offload those tasks, and I'll give you a little bit of context for what you could offload. If you just picked up 3, your top 3 off that list that are most tedious, time consuming, energy draining, these are the immediate tasks that you want to offload either to like an AI informed virtual assistant team. I know Tim and Tom, they use our service for that, or another platform that fits your needs, just get those offloaded. That would be option one. If there's some sort of automation tool that's out there that get them offloaded, perfect. But get those offloaded as fast as possible. At least your top three, top three that are most tedious, energy draining, time consuming for you. Then we say, what can I reinvest that time? How can I reinvest that time? Well, here's a couple of ideas. Skill development. If you need to increase your sales skills, this would be an opportunity. This could help you increase your closing percentage or increase your average order or your referrals. What about networking? What if you have like your dream 100 list of prospects that you really want to get in front of? You could start doing more intentional networking with those prospects versus social media outreach messaging, where someone else is doing the social media outreach, but you're over there on stages or in front of people or at networking events, having human interactions in face-to-face. Market analysis, product development. What about visionary planning? What about mapping out the next 6 months of strategy? What about sales? Actually taking sales calls. What about content creation? What about this one? Just spending more time with what matters most, like your energy. Not having guilty naps. You ever have one of those guilty naps where you're like, I'm just so daggone tired? And then you wake up from the guilty nap and you're like, I cannot believe I just slept for an hour. I have so much stuff to do. Those are the worst. But what about the guilt-free nap, right? Where you just need to recharge, right? What about a hobby? What about spending more time with your spouse or your kids or reading? I spent 2021. I read 26 books in 2021. I loved it. I had time because I knew the business was taken care of. I knew all these tasks were getting done because I had a talented team of individuals taking care of them for me. So think about it for you. What matters most to you? And sometimes people say, Mike, but you don't understand. I can't let go of control. I'm the only one who knows how to do this. Well, here's the thing you have to ask yourself. What matters more to you? Being in control or having the time freedom to be able to do the things that matter most to you? Dan Martell has an awesome book called Buy Back Your Time. Dan Martell, he said 80% done well by somebody else is 100% awesome. 80% done by somebody else is 100% awesome. So one of the concepts that I encourage you to think about is you do the first 10%. You have a team of AI-informed virtual assistants that do the middle 80%, and then you do the last finishing touches of those last 10%. Right now, at this moment in time, I have someone managing my inboxes, managing my calendar, creating graphic design, editing our podcast, doing all of these things because I've already started the first 10% and all of those middle 80% are getting done right now. Then they'll send it to me and I'll do those last 10%. So instead of me doing the actual 80% in the middle, it frees me up to do stuff like this. It frees me up. My wife and I, we just decided to move. We moved from Tampa to St. Augustine. Frees me up to do things with the home. Frees me up to we're going to go to Disney for 5 days, taking my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law. It frees me up to do the things that matter most to me, and that I think that's more important than having control. So again, this is a super long rant on the one thing that Kim said that just struck a chord with me, which is knowing what your time is worth. And if you know what your time is worth, then you could start being aware of what are all the tasks that are underneath that range. And then how can I get those offloaded as soon as possible and as fast as possible? But at least your top three. What are the top three that drain your energy the most, that are most tedious, that you're like, man, that admin just is really a pain in the neck. The data entry is just so annoying to me. Or, man, these comments on social media, my goodness, like it takes me so much time to go in there and respond to all these comments. What could you do? Well, with someone with a team of virtual assistants who know how to use AI, they could use what is called a tone analyzer. And we could go through this in another session, but they could use tone analyzer. So commenting and responding to these comments as you and your voice is something that exists. There's lots of really great tools out there that we could explore. I'd love to have more conversations about it, but I did want to honor the time today. I don't know if there's a follow up to that, Kim. I don't even know if you're still here. I only see myself. So is it only me right now? Okay, there you are. Awesome.
I am here only taking notes like crazy, like a mad woman over here, because I'm so many of those things. I'm like, I don't really have a scarcity, but I do have, I don't know why or what it is, but I struggle getting what I know in my head that like, okay, I'm doing these things. I shouldn't be doing these things. But then like, how do I get the VA doing these things instead of me doing these things? Like there's like this thing that happens with me. And I don't know if anyone's utilized a VA to relate, but I want you to light up the people that are tuning in right now. You're here right now, or you're watching a replay. Can you relate? Are you a mom who has the mom guilt because getting your business up and running off the ground would help the family, but you're struggling because of the time it's taking, and now you have mom guilt because the kids are getting neglected, or you need that guilty nap, or can you relate to this? Like you feel like you are working so hard for the money you're actually getting paid, right? If you relate to this, say I relate in the comments, because I just want you to know you're not alone, and there are real solutions that Mike has here for you. So also, if you have a question as you're listening to this and you have a question, I've got my eye on the chat. So if you have a question, ask it. Mike is an absolute expert. Him and his partners are experts. They know what they're doing. They help thousands of entrepreneurs buy back their time. So put your questions in, and then I think, if you want to, we still have a little bit of time, Mike, to
Sure.
keep going.
I could riff on more. We don't need questions. There's a lot to talk about on this topic, but I love what you just said. If you're a busy mom, one of the things that shows up for me, I'm a dad. Our like I said, James is he's 2.5, and my wife is pregnant with our daughter Ella, so she'll be here sometime in December, and I empathize with all the moms. If you're a mom listening, I know obviously I can relate to the dads, but the moms, I see it with my wife. And this philosophy is not just for business. Business is just a vehicle to help you live your life. We just moved into our new home, and being able to have the resources, the time, location, and money freedom to that's happening right now is the gift that I'm receiving because of all of the work that was being done in the past. So right now, 38-year-old Mike is receiving the benefits of the 32-year-old Mike, investing in business coaching and business success and tools and resources and reading books. And so I'm receiving the gifts from the past, but there's also been seasons in my life where I just didn't take the time to really grow and invest. And what's the saying? You reap what you sow. So if we're not willing to plant the seeds, how could we ever harvest the crops? So sometimes we do need to take that step back and say, all right, I've just been a cog in the machine. I've just been the bottleneck. I've been doing. And I really need to take a step back and just reassess and reimagine what I want my ideal outcome to look like. So if you're a busy entrepreneur, a busy mom, a busy dad, someone, just take a moment and just step back, like right now, like literally right now, and just think, what do I want? Like, what is my ideal outcome? What would be a perfect picture for me? So we already have like how much money you would want to make, and how many hours a week you want to work, and how many weeks a year you want to work. And if you have that framework, it's like, great, why, what you want. But then it's like, what's the second question to that? Why is that important to you? Why is it important to you to have that much time off during the week, or those many weeks off during the year, or making that amount of money? What's important to you? Why is that important? I would go layers deep with this person. So if I would ask this question to you and I said, why is that important to you? Say, well, I want to make an impact. Why do you want to make an impact? Well, I really feel that people can use my help. Well, why is it important for you to be able to help them? Why not just focus on you? Why are you focusing on these other people? Well, because I had someone help me and when I was younger, and I want to be able to do that for other people, or vice versa. No one was there to help me when I was younger, so therefore I want to do that for other people. That's beautiful, but why? Why are you making that a priority for yourself? because I've been blessed with the gifts of this resilience, and I've been blessed with the gifts of of ambition and drive. And I feel like it wouldn't be it wouldn't be um I don't know, lack of a better term, right, for me to not use those gifts that I've been blessed with. So it's like, well, why is it important for you to use the gifts that you've been blessed with? Well, because I owe it to my creator to use the gifts that I've been gifted with. And now it's like, oh my God, we got to the deep core meaning behind the time and the money freedom that you're looking for. It's because I want to use those gifts that I've been blessed with. Great. Now we're anchored to something deeper than the surface level stuff. Live in that, create your business from that energetic of there's a higher purpose, there's a higher frequency, there's a larger meaning behind why I'm doing this, and get out of that scarcity mindset of like, oh my gosh, what if it doesn't work? Or what if I overspend? Or what if this isn't? Once you commit and you have your anchored truth to why you're doing what you're doing, I could assure you there's seasons of life, and it doesn't matter what season you're in, whether you're in a winter, spring, summer, or fall. But if you're stuck in a hard winter season right now where there's a scarcity play, you're really busy, a lot of stuff is coming your way, spring always follows winter. And if you're in a spring season where you're planting these seeds and trying to get these seeds planted, well, know that summer is going to happen. And that's a grind season as well, where you're going to be working hard, fostering those seeds that you planted. If you're in a fall season, now you could relax, reap what you sowed, and go into strategy mode to prepare for the next winter that is eventually going to happen. And we just need to be aware of those seasons that you're in. So what I love about having tech and team around me is, regardless of whatever season I'm in, I know I always have a team and I always have technology where the business is a machine that can run and produce results with or without me. And obviously produces more results with me during those summer seasons, but it produces great results without me in those fall seasons or in those winter seasons when I'm not able to be there, and taking that spring season to make sure that we're planting those seeds. So let me kick it back to you, Kim.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's so, so, so good. So I was actually going to shift a little bit in the topic because I think a lot of people are thinking, oh my gosh, we're in a new world with AI, right? And they understand the power of it, but where do you start? Like, how do you even start? And maybe enter that conversation of, you know, how this can really set you apart from a lot of other people who aren't using it. But enter the conversation of AI for a second. And then I want to give some resources out that Tom and I are personally doing to help you leverage your time even more. So stick around for that. But can we get into that conversation a little bit? What is AI? How do we use it?
Sure.
Where do we start with it?
So to give it justice, if it's okay with you, I will answer the question right now. But could we do a part 2 to this, and we could spend the full time on just AI? I'll tease it right now.
Okay.
But if
perfect.
we do part 2, is that would that be okay?
Because it is like you could probably spend all day on this topic.
I could spend a lot of time on it. But so part 2 on where we could really talk about how to harness AI, artificial intelligence, and being able to stay competitive in the marketplace. And by the way, Kim, anyone who's listening, it is not that hard. It's actually quite simple. But I'll tell you, here's what AI is. I want you to imagine a tool that understands your audience's tone, anticipates all of their needs, and helps craft perfect content for them every time. Because AI, it's not about replacing humans. All it is, it's about amplifying our capabilities as humans. And this is not something that's like in the distant future. This isn't like Terminator 2 stuff. It's here. And every single business, especially yours, needs to embrace this change. And we actually have one of our clients, Holly O'Brien. She's also in the savvy world. She's been leveraging AI a ton in her savvy business. And it has been so fun for me to watch. She just had me on her podcast, Shift Happens. And it's just been so cool to see how she's been able to leverage AI and virtual assistants to help her with her business. But to answer the question, how might somebody get started if they wanted to take the first step? If you want to take the first step, we have made it as easy as possible for you to take the first step by going to betterthanrich.com/free call. And someone from our team will give you a free non-sales call, 15, 20 minutes, to answer any specific questions that you have about where you're at on the journey and what your needs might be. 15, 20 minutes, no sales involved. At the end of the conversation, if you want to learn more, like Kim and Tom and Holly and some other individuals that work with us, we would set up a second call with you. And that's where we could talk about our services. And we have two different offers. We have a team of virtual assistants that are all AI informed. They're all trained. It's funny. The VAs that do the work for me, that manage my inbox, that manage our podcast, that manage my calendar, those are the same VAs that work for our clients. So I am the avatar. I'm a busy entrepreneur. So all the work that they've done for me, they do for our clients. So they're all very, very trained. We have a team of 26 virtual assistants, and we're looking to hire a few more that we can offer to you in case that, you know, that's something that could be of help for you. If you're in a position where you need a little bit of coaching and hand-holding and like kind of redesigning and reimagining the business a little bit, we do have an operator to owner program that we could obviously discuss. That's a little bit more of the coaching side, hand-holding side. That's what we're doing for Holly. But either way, we don't have to get into that. That's just available. We could talk about it if you ask us and if it makes sense. But the most important thing we want to do is make sure busy business owners and entrepreneurs and individuals that are trying to make an impact in the world and using their business as a vehicle to get there, we want to help you win back that time so you could spend the time on what matters most, and winning back that time leveraging team and leveraging tech and leveraging a system that can work without you there, so that way you're not a cog in that machine. You're muted.
I just like, I feel my blood pressure lowering just hearing you when you speak about, you know, what the possibilities of the tedious things. Like, think about if someone can help you write, like I get stuck writing the content for reels. Like, what do I do? What do I say to this one? Right. I get stuck. You know, sometimes I don't have time to do my reach outs or wish everyone happy birthdays, or imagine if someone with your voice could do this for you and free you up, and you could really spend your time with what matters most. I love your brand, Better Than Rich, because what is it worth being rich if you're miserable? Right? Don't we want it all? We want to be healthy. We want to have our time. We want freedom, true freedom. And this is just a part of being an entrepreneur, is to outsource what you can. Have a team around you. Like, it's just so important. So betterthanrich.com. I suggest everyone take Mike up on this to have
/free call. That would be for all of you. No, it's okay. Betterthanrich.com /free call.
/free call. Register for this. It will change your life. And also one more resource that Tom and I just recently, we took, when it comes to tools and softwares, we used to pay a whole lot of money for multiple softwares that we just condensed into one that is saving us so much money and so much time. And that's at priorityoffice.com. priorityoffice.com. That is a tool and a resource where your contacts can go into. You can email them, you can text them, you can organize them, you can see what phase you're in with them, and it has changed our life. These two resources right here is changing our life. So that's priorityoffice.com. So write that down if you want to check that out. It's called Go High Level. It's an incredible resource a lot of entrepreneurs are using today. We were able to take Confusionsoft, ClickFunnels, Project Broadcast, and now it's all in one seamless place. So it's really helped with my brain. And then betterthanrich.com /free call. Okay, and we're right about at time. Mike, thank you so much. What do you want? Any closing comments or anything else that you want to, it's on your heart to wrap up with?
I just want to wrap up with saying that where you are right now is where you're supposed to be. And where I was in 2016 as an overwhelmed, busy entrepreneur, doing the best I possibly can before I hired my coach, I was doing the best that I can with where I was. And right now, we fast forward to 2023 when we're recording this, I'm still doing the best I can with where I am right now. And I just think it's important for us to honor that. We want to honor where you are right now, just do the best you possibly can with where you are. And just also keep in mind that where you are is not who you are. And we want to continue to evolve. We want to continue to grow. And this version of you right now is eventually going to be a past version of you. So just like me in 2016, 38-year-old Mike today, 2023 version of Mike is so grateful that I hired a coach and then I got into virtual assistants and I started doing this. I'm so grateful for 2016 version of Mike for taking those actions. So just embrace that. And I really appreciate you, Kim, for giving me the platform to speak. And I look forward to part 2 where we'll talk about AI. And I don't know if you know exactly when that will be, if you want to lock it in now or if you want to go back and forth offline. But I would love to riff on how to harness AI. I know someone asked in the chat, can you help us make content too? Oh, you bet your butt we can. So get ready. That's exactly what the AI topic is how you could use it. And in fact, I have a gift for everyone during that session, a 25-page workbook filled with prompts and tone analyzer tools and everything in that I'll give away during that session too for part 2. If you want to lock that in or do it offline, it's up to you, but just to seed it.
Oh gosh, that's Mike. This has been so good. I want to edify what you just said real quick because Tom and I have made millions in this industry, in this beautiful industry of network marketing. We would never be where we're at or even have a fraction of that if we didn't invest in ourselves. I mean, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Would you invest $1,000 to make 10,000? Right? When you put it in perspective, if you really want to be successful, no matter what business you're in or what you do, you have to learn, you have to grow, you have to get better, right? None of us want to stay the same. And we're entering into a world where I believe it's more important than ever to get the education you need to connect with people like this that can help you. We are here to help you make money, to create wealth, but to do it without losing sight of what's most important to you. This is an absolute must to learn what Mike is teaching today and what he's going to teach on the next session with AI. So Mike, let's get your calendar out. Let's do it.
Let's do it. I have it ready. You tell me.
Same time, same place next Friday. What do you
next
think?
Friday, I could do 30 minutes after this time. So could you start it instead of at 1 Eastern, 1:30 Eastern?
Yeah.
Or 1:15 even?
Let's do 1:30 or do you want to do 2 Eastern? Just do it an hour later?
Okay, an hour later is perfect.
Okay. So 2:00 Eastern Standard Time. We'll send out all the communication for this because this is something you're definitely not going to want to miss is as we unpack AI and how you can take advantage of that and free up your time even more. So Mike, truly appreciate you. You're incredible. Thank you for changing our life personally. And I know that you are going to make an impact. I know that's your heart. We've had a lot of conversations is to make an impact and help people, buy back their time, really earn back, get their time back. So you're amazing. And we'll see you next Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern.
See you then.
All right.